So, um, sorry for that technical issue, and we are saying that we are going to treat um mercy, but if time permits us, we will also continue with grace. Okay, so now mercy is overruled punishment. Generally, whether we told you that mercy is divided into two. One is the mercy of man, and the other is the mercy of God. So whether be it the mercy of man or mercy of God is generally defined as overruling punishment. Okay, so somebody did something that he or she is supposed to be punished, but rather instead of punishing him or her, you decide to overrule the punishment. Then you have mercy. You are having mercy on that person. You are having mercy on that person. So now, mercy is different from pity. You know, mercy is different from pity. Pity is when somebody is in the condition whereby, is pitiable. You are pitying the person because of his or her condition. You understand? So that one is a different ballgame. So, but this one is mercy. Then mercy, you overrule punishment. Now, this person is supposed to be punished, but no, you reserve it, you overrule the punishment. Now, in the case of man and mercy, okay, in the case of man and mercy, the mercy of man has to do with physical offenses. Physical, not spiritual. Okay, physical offenses, when the person or the people defies, let's say, maybe the law of a country, or maybe the law of an institution or a ministry or whatever, a law guiding a particular sector. So now the superior decide to have mercy on him or her or them by overruling the punishment. Okay, so which means, because what happened is that this law, or this law must have an attached punishment to it. So each defiler must receive a particular punishment. It might be a cash payment. It might be a cash payment, it might be a physical punishment, or whatsoever, So, but each and every of this of the offense must be attached with a punishment. So, but then instead of, it can, just like we told you, it can be of a country, a nation, anywhere. It can be a sector, a ministry, So now, when a particular person, maybe in that ministry or in that sector or in that country or whatever, defies that particular law that has punishment attached to it, then he is being, the person is being the punishment that is supposed to go to the person is overruled. You understand it? That is overruled. That is what mercy is all about. But we told you that when it has to do with the mercy of man, it's strictly on the physical thing, physical action. Physical activities or physical actions. You understand it now? So maybe, for example, it might be something like, maybe in a ministry or in a sector, he or she committed, maybe he came to work late, for example, and maybe there has been an attachment of a punishment to this particular issue, whereby you say, okay, if anybody comes to work late, this is the punishment that is due to the person. You understand? So now the person came to work late and you decide to overwhelm the punishment. You understand it? I mean, sorry, you decide to overlook the punishment. You decide to wave it off, the punishment. You decide to overrule the punishment. So this is what mercy is all about. So the mercy is when you overrule. So now, as far as man is concerned and their ways, the mercies of man has to do with the physical things of this world. Has to do with the things, physical activities, with the things that will affect your physical body. You understand it? That has to do with physical, not spiritual. Okay, not spiritual, completely physical. So now it has to do with physical things. It has to do with your physical body, physical activities, maybe your work, maybe your physical nation. So we are talking, maybe you offended, you defied the law of your physical country, your physical ministry, it can even be the rule of your family, your physical family, So maybe your parents has made a rule, okay, this must not be like this must not be like that, and if anybody that defies it must go in for it by presenting a punishment that is attached to that particular offense. You understand it? And so anybody that defied the rule, the punishment is awaiting. So now, and instead of you going forward to bring forth the punishment, you overrule it. So that is for man, physical, to your flesh. All is about physical thing, physical country, or physical nation, your physical ministry, your physical job, your physical, maybe even maybe in the business center, maybe in the business center, the rule that guides that particular business, or maybe the rules that guides that particular sector, that particular area of business, it might be your physical family, not spiritual family, So all these things, the mercies of man has to do with this physical offender of in each and every of these things. It can be your physical school, physical school. Oh, now anybody that comes to school late must receive punishment, So, but then the person comes, a particular person, maybe he or she is sick, for example. Now, the person came to school late and you already know, then you overrule the punishment because of the sickness. Or maybe the person is not even sick. It's not sick, but maybe because of the way and manner he pleaded, you decide to overrule the punishment. Okay, so these are the mercies of man has to do with physical things, physical offenses. To a physical in physical sectors and nation or whatever country. So this is the mercies of man. So when I think you should understand what we mean by this. Okay, so we told you that mercy generally is overruling punishments. Okay, overruling punishment. Then we have told you that this mercy is divided into two. They have the mercies that pertain to man. So this is what this and the funny thing is this. Let us clarify you. You see, when it has to do with this mercy, it has nothing to do with God. It has nothing to do with God. Because the one thing that the so-called Christians normally do is that when maybe they have this kind of mercy on you, they will now think or conclude that they have done the righteousness of God. Please, this is never, it has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with God. It has nothing. So if you think that when you show mercy to an offender of physical crime or whatever, then you have already done the righteousness of God, or you think you're doing the work of God, you have to have a rethink. It has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with God. You are just doing, so that we are saying this is so that you will understand when you are operating in the righteousness of man and that of God. We are saying this thing so that you will not start to raise shoulders, or maybe start to count it into your righteousness for God. So that you will not start. Because this is where the issue is. When this kind of things takes place in your life, you start to count it into the righteousness of God in your life. Oh, this is what I am doing. I am doing it because of Christ. I am doing it because of God. It is not true. It is completely not true. You are doing it not because of any God. You are applying the mercy of man, not of God. So we are going to differentiate both of them here so that you will know when the mercies of God comes in and when you are operating in the lane of flesh, so that you will not cross carpet carnality into spirituality. It cannot jam, it cannot blend. Yes, because a little living the whole loaves. A little carnality in your spirituality defies the whole body of your spirituality. That's the truth. A little, small, just a little spot of stain of flesh in your spirituality defies the whole body of your spirituality. So you see, so this is why we are talking about perfection. It is either perfect or nothing. Okay. So I think you should have, you're supposed to have gotten it clearly when it has to do with the mercies of man, right? Good. Now coming to the mercy of God. The mercy, the spiritual mercy of the true God. Now, this mercy is specifically, listen, specifically given to sinners. Yes, to the sinners, to the sinners, to the sinners, to the worldly people, to the people that has no link with God. So mercy, this mercy is given. Now, when is it given? Listen so that you understand when God gives you. Now, a man that lives in sin, we use the word living in sin. A man that lives in sin. Now, so now, this person that lives in sin, under spiritual normal circumstances, he or she is supposed to go in for it. Yes, he's supposed to perish. You know, most at times, you will discover that, most at times you discover something. The person you know to be a chronic sinner, all of a sudden, you see him or her or them, tomorrow, you hear that he or she have repented. He or she has given his life to Christ. He might be, a highway, robber, he is the kind of person that indulges in, he does any kind of dirty deals. People around might even know him or her. And you are waiting patiently for the day this person will go down. You are waiting patiently for the day this woman will crumble. You are waiting patiently for the day you will hear that bushmeat, has catch the hunter. You are waiting patiently. You are waiting patiently for this. But all of a sudden, instead of you seeing this man dying, you are seeing him the next time coming to you to give you the gospel of Christ. You will see the same person. You will see this man that you are expecting to hear that he has died. He has gone. He is gone. He is gone. You are waiting patiently to hear that this person has gone. You are waiting patiently to hear that this person has, you're waiting patiently to hear, to see the punishments that this person will go through. How this person is going to, eat concrete with his own teeth. You are waiting. But all of a sudden, what you saw was that this person that you are expecting to go to suffer for his pride. The sin you have been, it has been, in fact, he has been drinking iniquity like water. He has been swimming in it. You already know. You know how he has been terrorizing the whole vicinity. You have been terrorizing even the streets. You are waiting to hear that he has gone RIP. But all of a sudden, from nowhere, this man gave his or her life to Christ. All of a sudden, you saw this man carrying Bible to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. All over, everywhere. Spiritually now, terrorizing the whole environment with Christ. And I know that when you hear this kind of person speaking Christ, most of you will use your pillow to cover your ears. You wouldn't like to hear that gospel. I know that when you hear these persons speak, before, you would like to bring him down before everybody. If you know how you can gather everybody to tell them, don't listen to this man. This man is supposed to die. I don't know the kind of God we even have. No. Which kind of mercy is this? Which kind of God is this? The God that's supposed to strike this man, and instead of striking him, he gave him opportunity. And look at this man blabbing and terrorizing the whole place with gospel. You see the difference between these two. So this man is supposed to go in for it. He's supposed to die. He's supposed to perish. He's supposed to go to hell. He's supposed to go to hell. That is what you are here. You are supposed to, what you want to hear is, you are supposed to see the man living, but you want to see his shadow already displaying in the hair. That is what you want to see. But all of a sudden, the reverse becomes the case. The reverse becomes the case. God pretended as though he never saw all those things. He brought the gospel to him. And immediately this man grabbed this gospel. He took off from there. He turned around. From all those things you know him to be, he turned around and grabbed Christ and start doing justice to Christ, to the word of God. He poured out himself, just like the way he was dedicated to the kingdom of darkness, just like the way you know his identity in the kingdom of darkness, just like the way he was terrorizing the whole vicinity with his evil life. He captured Christ, and the same way he terrorized the whole vicinity with the same Christ. The same way. The same way. So you see, he's terrorizing everywhere. Everybody that know him to be evil, the same people is now knowing him for another identity, with another identity. He is now taking. Now listen, what we are telling you this thing is, we want you to be mindful, because God, don't relax. Don't think that you have arrived. That is why God told you, he said, take heed. He said, let he that think he stand, take heed lest he fall. Don't think you have arrived. Don't think you are doing well. For anybody that you see, winning the race at all time, it is no longer training by training. He trains by time. He judges himself with timing. The timing now is what matters to him. What do I mean by his timing? A man, it is not because he won. His problem is not just winning. His problem is that he wants to establish that identity of winning. And how does he establish it? If he won in 15 minutes of race, if he takes his time, you see, his time is what he checks. Now, if he runs any race and won with 15 minutes, now the next time he will train to win with 10 minutes. He will train, and if he won with 10 minutes, he will also train to win with 5 minutes. So that if you are also calculating him by time, if you want to beat his time, he is reducing the time. If you think, if you run, if your intention is to win him, you cannot, because he is matching you with the time. He is not blown off by the winning. He is not interested. He won, yes, he won, but his interest is to continually win. He wants to establish the life of winning. That is what he does. And because he wants to do this, he checks time. The problem with you, as the Christians are so to say, you don't know the timing. Little wonder Jesus Christ said, you hypocrites, you know the signs of weathers. When it wants to rain, you know. When it is time for Harmattan, you also know. Winter, you are aware of. Fall, you already know the signs. Immediately it is time for fall, you know the signs. You know the signs that will bring winter. You know the time that will bring the signs that bring summer. You already know. You know the rainy season, you know. The Harmattan, you know. You know when the signs start coming. But this time, the spiritual time is what you completely lack. You don't know the timing. You are not watching. You are not conversant with the spiritual timing. That is one thing that kills. See, just like we told you, don't raise ankles. They might have hanged you in the rank of general overseer. Come down from there. There are much to do on the ground. Come down. Come down. You are, check yourself. See, the question we want to ask is, are you perfect indeed right inside of you? When you put yourself on the scale, when you try to put yourself on the scale, what do you weigh? What is the result that reflects? Do you see any spots? Did you see any wrinkles? If you see, brother, wake up. Wake up and rise against that spirit. If not, it will put you where you never imagined. Don't allow the worldly people to mess you up by hanging you so far. Because if they hang you so far and you refuse, if you did not refuse to be hanged there, if you are comfortable in that far, it will mess you up. Do you know why? Because the same way the worldly people have themselves so far. You are meant to be a servant. You are not meant to be a ruler. What are we talking about? It is time for mercy. This mercy, we told you, is given to the sinner. The people you thought you are better than. God can decide to be merciful on them anytime, any moment. He told you categorically, he told you straight to the point. He said, God is able and capable to raise unto himself stones as sons, as children. So, what is he telling you? He said, bear the fruit of repentance. Because if you start to brag and boast, I am a Christian, I am trying my best, I am doing my best, I am the general overseer, I am the one that gathered all these things. You gather nobody. Nobody. See, you are not the one that ranks. The ranking is the height of Christ you have obtained inside of you. You have the ability to be conformed to the image of Christ. So, what are we talking about? The people you look down on, the people you call the unbelievers, the people you call the worldly people, the people you said you have concluded that they are perishing. See, let me tell you. See, if you do not work on yourself, if you do not work on yourself, see what God is going to do. And it's going to be a pity to you. What God is going to do is that he's going to sideline you. He's going to put you in one corner and raise these stones, these people that you have already condemned in your mind. He will raise them unto himself. And let us tell you one thing. You see the way and manner they are faithful to the woman of sin, the devil, in their committing of their atrocities and sin. You see the way they are strictly, they give their totality to worship this devil. When God take hold of these people, they are going to be much more faithful because their eyes will open to know the truth that will set them free. It will shock you because, be there, answering Christians, continue, answered man of God, continue. You see, although there's something we have to understand. Not as though Brother Ferdinand is castigating or trying to condemn anyone, but there's one thing we want to put to you. Did you know that the majority of these people you call men of God and pastors, did you know that they intentionally, with the whole of their chests, they submit to the woman of sin, and they know what they are doing. They worship, they sign up, they sign to the woman to the devil to live for her. Did you know? See, whatever they are doing, no, they already know their end. They are out for it. They have traded their eternal life for riches. We are telling you the honest truth, but I don't know for you. It depends, because why we are doing this thing is because we don't want you to perish. See, most of these so-called men of God, pastors and general overseers, they have intentionally, on their own, sincerely given themselves to the devil. Sign up to, they have reached an agreement. So what you are seeing on television, the preaching you're hearing, you'll be here shouting, this man of God, what is he saying himself? What is he doing himself? Why will this man of God do a thing like this? He is renting or borrowing person or paying people to come and perform miracle. So that the person will come and affirm that he or she is sick or whatever, so that he will, just like that. Oh, he paid this person to come and act this. No, see, those people, majority of them, even almost all of them, they have reached an agreement with the woman of sin for them to reach to that height they are into. It is not God that placed them there, but if you do not know, you will think it's God. Now, what these people are doing, they already know. They have already signed into it. They know what they are doing. They know that they have no deals with God. But what are their work? What are they there for? Simple. Now they traded their soul for money. Okay? So this is the work given to them. You various souls of man, you that are their members, you that are listening to them, you that are subject to their word, you are the target of the devil through them. Just like anybody that is of Christ will win you unto Christ, then they that are of the devil will win you unto the woman of sin, the devil. So they are what they are, not as though. Then let us ask you, do you think that all these things that you are hearing, you're saying even in social media, do you think they don't hear it? They hear it, they know, but they have their mission. What you're saying or they are doing is none of their business, because they are out to do their work. As long as the cash and the respect keep on flowing, they are good. So they have traded their soul for the material things of this world. And work is given to them a tax, and that tax is to win your own soul unto the kingdom of darkness through them. If you have sense, if you want to hear, you hear. Yes, so that as long as you step into their various churches, as long as you step into, as long as you are subject to their words, as long as you are interested in them, they are fishing your soul to the kingdom of darkness. You don't need to recite. To you are you're sincere with yourself. You want to walk with God. You want to worship God. You want. But we have told you that God has his formula. God has his formula. See, anybody that do not use the formula of God, which is the doctrine of Christ, that person is on his or her own way, on her own. Yes. So that you will not be deceived. So that you will not be deceived. So, as we are saying, this mercy is to the souls that you never imagine that he or she will come to God. These mercies of God. This mercies of God is given to the people that you might have also already condemned here on this physical. As far as you as a Christian is concerned, when they mention that person, you don't want to hear him. Why? Because he or she has been, to you, he is full of iniquity. You understand? So this one is a different ballgame. He do not know what he's doing. He does every dirty thing to make money. He lack knowledge. But we are not talking about, when we talk about the so-called men of God or general overseer or pastors, many of them, not as though they don't know what they are doing. They know. They intentionally goes in for it. This one, there will be no mercy. There will be no mercy. So there are difference between a man that lives a life you think it was right. You never know that it was so bad. You don't know anything, but God decided to have mercy on you. But we are not talking about the people that already intentionally choose the path of destruction, and the devil gave them a mandate, win souls unto her, and they are busy using miracles, and so-called miracles, signs and wonders, magic, what so-called magic in the form of miracles, or rather miracles, signs and wonders, and even predictions, soothsaying, using it to lure you into the altar of destruction. You will not know, because the name of God is mentioned. The name of Christ is mentioned. Holy Ghost is mentioned. Do you think that is every songs that carries the name of God belongs to God? Do you think so? Do you think that is every song you hear, the word or the name of God is included? Do you think that it is all that is them that belongs to, is all of them that belongs to God? Do you think so? Be wise. Be wise. So, we are going to pause here. So this mercy, we are telling you, is strictly for those people that do not even know their right from their left. They don't know their right from their left. They don't even understand what God is saying or what God is doing. They don't even understand. They just know that God exists, but they don't know anything. You understand? But the day God will cause them to know something about them, it's going to shock you that day they will trade all those personality they have built for evil. They will trade it for righteousness of God. And of course, God will have mercy on them. Yes, it's going to shock you, right? God is going to have mercy on them. But not to the people that you are a Christian. You're a Christian. And you don't want to advance. You are comfortable with your stagnation. You have upholded this form of religion, denying the power that holds it. You are on your own. You are on your own. The gospel you're hearing from us, right in your heart, God will be confirming that this is true, but can you bear it? So you know, but you will run away. You know, but you don't want to hear it. You know, but you don't want to follow it. Why don't you want to follow it? Because you know that you're going to sacrifice many things to follow. So because you are not ready to trade the world and sin, you're not ready to trade your carnality. You prefer to be in carnality. And to take anything in the name of worshiping God, in the name of, even though you know you don't get much satisfaction, even though you know there is something wrong, and somebody will tell you, no, don't castigate them, they are man of God. Who told you that? Who told you they are man of God? Did Christ spared the so-called men of God of those days? Did he? The Pharisees and the Sadducees were not men of God. Did Christ spare any of them? John the Baptist, did he spare any of them? Did he not even call them the blood-sucking vampires? Go there. You can read it in Matthew chapter 3. He called them blood-sucking vampires. The so-called men of God of those days. So what is different between them and today? In fact, they were even more zealous than people of today. They were even more zealous. So you see. So Christ never spared them. And the word of Christ will not spare them even till today. So if you feel that we are castigating, Christ castigated. So Christ is our footsteps. So we are castigating if you think so, because Christ taught us so. You can read the story of Christ. You will see them. You will see how he called the Pharisees, the high priests, call them all their names. You hypocrites, you are like whitewashed tomb, filled of dirty bones, rotten bones, but the physical is white. What was it? He was talking to the men of God of those days. Christ was the one doing that. So let us call a spade a spade. If you want to come out, you come out. If you don't want to come out, God is going to shock you. You know what he's going to do? He's going to sideline you and raise the people that you think will die. The people that know not what you know. And you will give them what you know, and they will do well and advance and even go beyond what you know to become perfected. Yes, they will. So since you're comfortable in where you are, God does not want a child that do not want to develop. God does not want a child that's not interested in growing. God is not interested. God wants a child that is interested in growing. You are comfortable doing the same thing, recycling the same thing in your various churches every month, every year to year. You look at yourself, you are not improving spiritually, you are still who you are. You have, at the end of the year, you will go in for revival. Christ has died. You want to revive him so that he'll come alive again. Don't fool yourself. Anyway, we'll continue tomorrow as God permits us. Okay, if you have any question, you can drop it at the comment box. And if you don't want, you have anything personally you want to speak to us about, please kindly drop it at our inbox. Okay, you want to speak to us direct, call us on um, Facebook Messengers, call. We're going to take your calls. Okay, God bless you for being here in this class, and endeavor to share it, cause it to go viral, reaching every source in every corner of this world. Yes, God will never cease to continually reward you for this, because this is not just anyhow message. It's coming from Him and Him alone directly. God bless you. See you again tomorrow by our time, 7:30 p.m. Nigeria/Cameroon time. Check your time wherever you are in every corner of this world to blend on that time, so that you can join us on live broadcast with SNFM. God bless you, and see you tomorrow in Jesus' name. Amen.